Hello everyone! Welcome to Badass ABCs for Adults by Happiness Homemade for You. Thank you for subscribing to our YouTube channel and for liking us on Facebook. This is lesson number 1. Get ready to learn the letters of the alphabet. This is lesson B1, capital letter B, lowercase letter b. B is for Blue Hawaiian, BLUEHAWAIIAN. Okay, here we go with the first part of our lesson. Lesson 1 is our alphabet identification. And let's go through looking at the shape of the letter B. Here we have the coloring sheet B that's available on the Facebook page. B as in boat. B as in Blue Hawaiian. And there's our Blue Hawaii cocktail, yummy. And now we're going to scroll through some of the fonts. Remember, we're looking for the letter B in the world around you. So look at these different fonts. And we're going to look for that same element. Let's take a quick peek again at what the letter B looks like. And let's compare that to the fonts that we're going to see and see if we can identify those main elements. Here's the capital B and a lowercase b. Here's our psychedelic B. What is the same? We have these two holes. Capital B, squiggly kind of B. B, are we seeing this same element for the letter B? Okay, a couple more. Art Deco style. Let's see how that comes out on your screen. And I'm going to zoom in right here for those of you who are tactile learners, kinesthetic learners. Take a peek at how you can sign the letter B. And let's go to the second part of the lesson, which is practicing writing the letter B. Here we go, time for our worksheets. Those of you who have gone through lesson A, which I hope you did, know that I'm going to be switching to a marker so that we can do this together. And I want to remind you that if you do not have access to Facebook to get the free worksheets, that you can practice this at home with your hand in the air, with your finger writing in the air. And the reason that we want your body moving while you're doing this is that it is going to make those brain connections for you, writing and reading together, and get those synapses connecting in your brain. So please do participate, even if you don't have the worksheets. Here we go. Second part of the lesson is us actually practicing how to write the letter B. And we are going to be practicing at first the capital letter and on our handwriting sheets the lowercase. So let's see that those elements that we were picking up that all of these fonts have for the letter B is going to have these two, I just call them two holes. And yes, if you turn this picture on its side, it does kind of look like a booty. Turn your head sideways and you're going to see. Look, kind of looks like a bum. All right, so here we go. We're going to go to the top and go down, and then we're going to do our little bump, bump. Okay, and you're going to notice here also that in this block style print, it's about the same, both bumps are about the same size, but in handwriting, you know, as you improve your handwriting, I believe technically, you know, the bottom bump is a little bit longer. See? All right, but here we go. We're going to go those basics down. We're just practicing right now. Start at the top and go down. Bump, bump. And we got our calligraphy style, but look, I can still see the line that goes from top to bottom, and a bump and a bump. Start at the top and go down. Bump, bump. Over here you can see our lowercase b. Start at the top and go down. Bump, bump. Look at this Art Deco style. There is still a line here from the top to the bottom. Bump, bump. And we've got this Art Nouveau style. Start at the top and go down. Bump, bump. Awesome. Okay, let's see if I save that and close it out. We've got one more that we can practice like this. And I'm going to click Edit so that we can see it and get myself a marker that is green. And we're ready to practice again. Start at the top and go down. Bump, bump. Our steampunk B. Start at the top and go down. Bump, bump. Hope you're doing this with me. Start at the top and go down. Bump, bump. 3 more. Start at the top and go down. Bump, bump. Look at how they gave this a curve because of the font, but we basically still have a backbone and a little bump. Backbone and a booty. Start at the top and go down. Bump, bump. Okay, now we're going to add on practicing the lowercase b by moving on to our handwriting worksheets, which are also available on the Facebook page. So let's practice that in print. And as I said before, this is in a Danielian font. Let's grab that marker for me. And at home you are using pen, pencil, or your hand in the air. And I believe on these handwriting sheets, I'm going to zoom in so hopefully you can see it better on your screen at home. And here we have some arrows that let you know where you're going to start. So before we get started, let's take a look at the difference now that we can compare the uppercase to the lowercase. On my uppercase, uppercase, pardon me, is the same thing as capital. On the capital letter, we start at the top and go down, and we have the first bump is about halfway, right? We got that dashed line to help us get used to the size of the letters. So we start at the top and go down, and there's a bump, bump, and you see that that bottom one should be a little bit bigger. It's common after you're comfortable with writing that it's, you know, the same size or whatever, but technically the bottom is supposed to be a little bit bigger. And let's see what the difference is with the lowercase b. At least this lowercase letter does look somewhat like the uppercase. It's just missing the top bump. It's just a bottom bump on it. So half. And that second bump is right there at that midline. Okay, so here we go. Let's practice it. Capital B. Start at the top and go down. Bump, bump. Lowercase b, start at the top and go down, and just one bump halfway up. And I also want to point out that if you do print these worksheets, it does help to put your pencil over the example that they give you so you can feel what it feels like, and write over it several times until you get comfortable with it. Okay, we're going to practice it twice together and then move on to the cursive handwriting practice. So it's a capital letter, and remember Danielian font is at an angle, right? See how these letters are straight up and down? With Danielian handwriting, it's preparing you for cursive handwriting. So it's gonna be at a slant, which is actually more comfortable. Even if you never move on to cursive, it is more comfortable to write your letters at a slight slant over time. Okay, we start at the top and go down, bump, woohoo, bump. All right, that's all right that it's a little bit messy. We're practicing, right? Lowercase, start at the top and go down, and just one bump. Let's do it again. Start at the top, go down, bump halfway, bump the rest of the way, lowercase, start at the top and go down, and a half of a bump, or one bump out of two. Okay, that's our practice for print. And let's see, I'm going to save that baby and close it so we can move on to cursive. And I don't know how many lessons I'll repeat this, but it is important. Oops, I opened it the wrong way. It is very important, those of you who are at the reading level 1 and 2, I'm asking you to not practice cursive handwriting until you are at level 3 reading. That's just my personal preference, and that is because a lot of the cursive letters may have a different shape, and I'm still wanting you to learn the basic shape. Let's get your language skills down before we start moving on to pretty. How did I describe this to somebody else? You want to learn, let me see, let me switch over to my marker because you can see where I'm talking about. Whoa, that's a big marker. And let's get that a little bit more doable size. Okay, what I was trying to say is, you know, when you are in the reading level 1 and 2, you know, how did I say this to somebody? You need to learn how to get your clothes on. You don't want to walk out the door naked, right? Get your clothes on, and then after you learn how to put on your own clothes, then you can learn how to get your accoutrement and all your fancy, you know, accessories, okay? The goal is to get your brain first understanding these basic shapes before we try to add like, oh, it can also have this shape and that shape, and it'll just confuse your mind, and I don't want to discourage you in the beginning. Okay, so I probably won't say that through many of the lessons, but it's just so important. Go ahead and watch it with us if you're at that level, just so you can see what's coming. But I truly recommend not practicing it. Okay, let's see. If you're in level 1 and 2. Okay, but if you're at the reading level 3 and 4, you're ready to start advancing because you're already comfortable with the shapes and sounds for these letters. So here we have cursive. Remember, we're at a slant, and let's see what's different and the same with the cursive style. We can see that the capital B still has a straight line and a bump, but our lowercase b has somewhat of a different shape. It's still all the way at the top, but it's going to have this little shelf kind of thing here. And I can even say, like, some people will write their B like this. They make this loop bigger so that it looks more like a lowercase b print style. You know, it's your preference as you get more comfortable with handwriting. Let's see. In the meantime, let's practice the standard Danielian style cursive. Start at the top and you go down, but watch. When we're doing cursive handwriting, you're not letting go of the paper. You can't pick your pencil or pen back up. So I'm actually holding the cursor and I have to come back up to the top to make my bumps. And I'm going to give it that little tail. And this tail, I'm going to remind you that cursive, all of the letters connect in a word. So the reason that this tail is here is because it's getting ready to connect to the next letter of what you're writing. So I'm going to give you an example. Well, let's use the word Bob. That Bob is a name, which means it's going to have a capital letter. So if I go from the top and down, come back up and get my bumps, and I want to spell the word Bob, I put in that little tail, but I keep going. Oh, it's going to be sloppy, but that's okay. I put in my O, and now I'm going to move into a lowercase b, and that is Bob in cursive. It's a little bit sloppy, but that's all right. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense about why this is all here. Let's see. Let me undo Bob. Okay, so now let's practice that lowercase b. Lowercase b starts at the bottom. Right, we're going to be swinging around from some other letter into this letter. So we go from the bottom to the top, all the way down, and then we're going to give it that little shelf there. So let's practice this a couple times together, and then you've got the entire worksheet to practice on your own. Let's do a capital B. Starts at the top. Come on back up to the top. Bump, bump. Oops, and I forgot my little, getting ready to swing. Lowercase b. Start at the bottom, loop up to the top, and give it a little shelf. One more time. Start at the top and go down. Come back up. Bump, bump, and a little tail. And lowercase b starts at the bottom. Swing it up to the top. Come down and give it that little shelf. All right, you're ready to rock and roll, practicing that on your own as many times as you want. Print them. They're for free on the Facebook page. And let's see, is that all of them? Yes, we've got the cursive and the print, and I'm going to save that, little babies. All right, and we're going to see you in lesson 2, which is the cuss word of the day, your phoneme boot camp, where we will learn the sounds that the letter B makes. Okay, see you in the next round. Thank you for watching Badass ABCs by Happiness Homemade for You. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and like us on Facebook.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z, O. The best.